Hi guys, welcome back to Crazy Brave Homeschool. I'm Ashley, a homeschooler to a second grader and a TKer. This is our third year homeschooling, and welcome to my channel. If you're familiar with our homeschool, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys just a mid-year catch-up update. I recently made a video about a lot of the spring curriculum that we are going to be using, but I definitely forgot about some stuff, some other things I haven't touched on in a while. And yeah, I just kind of want to catch you guys up because I feel like there's some new things, and I also just feel like things are going really well. So I want to chat about it. I also like to chat when things are not going well. So don't worry, there's those videos too. I also feel like my hair is pretty silly today, but we're just going with it. Okay, so what do I want to touch on first? A couple of things that I didn't get to mention in my December wrap up. I have a couple notes here because these things kind of happen later on in the month. Was we tried out for the first time a Charlotte Mason style exam with my second grader. Normally Charlotte Mason would do like end of term exam, so there's 3 terms in a year. We did a mid-year exam, and then we're going to do an end of the year exam. So that's just how we started, trying it out for this year. And it went really well. I wasn't going, if you're not super familiar with Charlotte Mason exam, I don't think I'm going to use this video to go over much of that. If you are interested in what that really entails, I'd love to make a video about it. So let me know. But let's see, I think I did put it in here. This is just like our record keeping. I used the template from the Ambleside Online website, which is a free Charlotte Mason curriculum resource. They had like sample questions of, what you could include on your end of term exam. And so I just picked and chose what I thought would make the most sense for us and what we studied. And then I, specifically chose questions about things that we had studied. But the whole deal with like a Charlotte Mason style exam is that it's really just more of a narration of topics or books that you had covered during that term. And it's really too meant to be kind of like a celebration of the end of the term, completing that material, and not so much of like a drilling kind of test. It's not looking for what the child doesn't know. It's just looking for what the child does know. So the questions are very open-ended. There's no yes or no. And I don't want to get too into it because I have a lot to go over today, but I'll just give you a couple of examples of some of the questions that we did. I took her to a coffee shop. We got a hot chocolate, which I think was a little distracting. Maybe next time we'll do it at home with a fun treat or something. But it was cute. It was like a mommy-daughter date, right? So we did this on December 20th. We were learning calendar work and getting her address right and everything. So I asked her what's today's date? What's your address? For the language arts questions, I had her read an excerpt out of our McGuffey reader. I had her do a copywork a sentence, with correct punctuation and everything. I had her define a couple of parts of speech terms that we had learned. I asked her a few more calendar questions, and I had her recite a poem that she had memorized out of first language lessons. So that was our language arts exam. And so, what I did too was I voice recorded her on my phone so that I could then, just relax and not be writing, and then just listen to it later. And I typed it up. Okay, so for science, this actually had the most questions, which was funny because our science has just kind of bombed. We've just been doing a lot of nature study, which is great. But anyway, I asked her to tell me about germs. What do you know about germs? Tell me something about your favorite nature discovery this year. Tell me what you know about mammals. Well, tell me how your favorite animal lives and works. Tell me something about one of the following: a polar bear, a wolf, or a lion, and then she would choose which one. Explain the life cycle of an apple. Tell me how a tree changes during the seasons. what is your favorite poem from the book that we're reading? And tell me everything you know about a pond. And then for history, all we did was we played the American Girl History board game that came with the curriculum that we used, which was really fun. You have to print it off. It takes quite a bit of prep work, but my daughter really loved it, and it's just going over a ton of U.S. history facts, and I've been so surprised by how well she's done. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised. She loved American Girl History, but for math, we just did the midterm assessment in our Right Start Level B. And then I forgot to ask her what her favorite picture study was from that year. Let's see. And then that was it. And then I printed out the excerpt that I had her read. And then I put in here to her copywork sentence. So that's it. And then the rest of it I just typed up from her oral narrations. So I'm really just glad that that went well. It was fun. It didn't feel stressful for her at all. And we're definitely going to do it again at the end of the year. So I just wanted to share that with you, that I didn't know that we would do exams, but now that we're following more of a Charlotte Mason curriculum or philosophy, we're going to include exams just like she did. A couple things to wrap up the end of last semester. As I mentioned, we really were struggling to find a read aloud that we liked, like a chapter book read aloud. The one that we just really loved was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I'm going to do a flip through and review of this alongside a couple other of the Hearth Magic guides. I think I'll just do like a Hearth Magic video of her novel guides, of the ones that we've used anyway. So stay tuned for that. This went really well. The only problem with this was that she loved the book so much that we read it in like a week, and then I couldn't keep up with the activities. So I just kept going with these for the whole month of January. We just continued doing the activities out of this, and it didn't bother her. She really liked it. I thought we were going to keep reading the series like Prince Caspian. She is frustrated that the movies are too intense for her, and so she wants to wait to read the rest of the books when she can enjoy the movies because they were a little too scary. But anyway, this went really well. I think that that's kind of the only things I wanted to touch on from last semester, whatever I'm calling it. I'm excited to talk about what's going on this semester. We are having just a really good semester. I'm loving our homeschool more lately than I was the first half of the year, and I definitely know why. I had overscheduled myself last semester with just extra stuff. So if you've watched any of my past videos from the last few months, I was bringing in a lot of unit studies. We did an animal geography unit that I think we only did half of. We were going to do a spirituality unit that we did a week of. We did a Native American unit that we actually finished. On top of that, American Girl History is a lot. Then we had a science curriculum, elemental science, the biology. Totally flopped for us, so that was just kind of frustrating. We started a new phonics program for my daughter, who's just kind of like a struggling reader, and so that was just like a whole thing to wrap my head around. I basically cut out half of our language arts that we were doing just to kind of help to get her on track with reading, so that was a bit of a curveball. We had a novel guide, that novel study that did not work out, The Hobbit, so I wasn't able to use that curriculum. And so then we started to try to like throw in some other chapter books that I had planned for the year. And it was like one fail after another. So like I mentioned, Narnia was the best one. But anyway, I'm just like, we brought in a lot of new stuff this semester while keeping our core stuff going. But it doesn't feel like too much. Something has happened where the schedule feels good. We're not going over we're not going over 3 hours of school at all. In fact, I'm really keeping it more to like 2.5 hours, and we only homeschool 4 days a week. So there's just some magic in the air in our homeschool, and fingers crossed it stays this way. But it's going really, really well right now. So I want to touch on some things. Just on that chapter book read aloud note. So since we finished Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe so fast that I'm like, okay, great, we'll start a new chapter book. I had this one planned for this year, The Midwife's Apprentice. I was especially excited about this one because I am a doula and I've worked with a lot of midwives, and my daughter's been fascinated with that work. But even I was really bored with this. She was pretty bored with it. I really didn't see like where it was going. I think we read, at least a third, and it just was falling flat for us. So unfortunately, we put this one down. Then she found all of these American Girl chapter books at the library, and I'm like, oh dear, dear God. But she just couldn't really get into them. I don't know. She loves her American Girl books, the little skinny ones, but for whatever reason, she was just not really feeling these. I'm not terribly mad about it. And then I heard great things about this book, The Girl Who Speaks Bear. I got this from the library. I really wanted to keep going with this, but I just, we got like a quarter of the way through and she just couldn't, wasn't getting into it at all. It just couldn't do it. So we are back to square one with trying to find a chapter book read aloud. All right, sorry for this hiccup in the filming, but I totally forgot to mention a read aloud that actually went really, really well for us. So this is Mango's Mischief and Tales of Friendship, Stories from India. This book is paired with our Blossom and Root Language Arts grade 1 that we're finishing up from last year. And we have read almost this entire thing of just these little tales, and my daughter's really loving these. So I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget to mention this because it's definitely been a win. What I realized is that I was looking through my planner, and a lot of the chapter books that I had scheduled for spring term, we tried reading fall term because all these ones weren't working out. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all this free space now to try to find some new read alouds. So what we do have planned that has to work because I am too excited about it. I've heard great things about this book. We are going to be bringing this in. I was going to do it in February, but I'm actually going to hold off and do it in March because, so this is Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. This novel guide is from Hearth Magic. We're going to do it in March because in February, we are doing the Beautiful Feet Black History Month unit. It's just read alouds and then some like discussion questions. Like it comes with some questions. It doesn't come with any activities. I showed this in my morning basket video, and I'm not going to show all the books. I just grabbed a couple. Oh, this one actually isn't even in it. I just got this one that we're going to read for Juneteenth. Whoops, I didn't actually mean to grab this, but All Different Now is about Juneteenth. But anyway, it is a bunch of just like beautiful living books celebrating Black History Month. And so I'm really excited to get into this, but it's definitely going to be like 2 read alouds a week. And so that's why I wanted to hold off on Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. And then also in February, we are bringing in, I've actually already started. We're bringing in the Tuttle twins. So I bought 6, right? 6 of these books. I think that there are like at least 12. We started The Miraculous Pencil 2 days ago. I thought it was going to go well. I didn't know that my 5-year-old boy was going to sit in on this. I don't know how much he listened, but he sat in on the entire thing and he didn't complain and he wanted to see the pictures. And then I was mostly reading it to my 2nd grader. I read this in 15 minutes. I can't believe how quick it went. And it was awesome. Like The Miraculous Pencil is just so cool. It really made the kids think about like when they pick up anything now. They're, well, I don't know that they are, but when we were talking about the lesson, they were picking things up and like, well, oh my gosh, I can't even believe all the things that went into like making this one thing. Like this book is all about what goes into making a pencil and how it involves so many people, so many jobs, so many resources. And it's a really wonderful way to really start looking at things critically and not just like in this sort of like consumptive way that kids tend to do because they have no idea what goes into making this stuff. These books are about so many topics within like the economy, the free market, law, just government. And so there's sort of like, been discussion about these books, the fact that they come from a family who is has maybe been called like anti-socialist, anti-government. I'm not putting labels on these. These books embody conversations that I definitely want to have with my kids. But we'll see. We started with the first book. I'm excited to continue with the series. I am considering for April reading Peter Pan, and it's one of the books that's recommended on the Under the Home Language Arts read alouds for, I believe, 2nd grade. And so, I don't know, I think that the kids might really love it. And we have not read a lot of classics like that. And I think it will be cool for them to hear the story from a classic perspective. Okay, so for the month of May, we are going to be reading Little House in the Big Woods with this novel guide from Hearth Magic. And this is a program that I didn't know if we were going to get to. I've really been wanting to because it's been sitting on my shelf for a year. We're going to do the homesteading unit from Harbor and Sprout. And here's my tentative plan. Because this is a massive unit that really covers the full spectrum of subjects, my plan was to do this in May and then to drop a lot of the other subjects that we're doing. So for instance, we would likely drop whatever science we're doing, which is a bird unit. We would likely drop our history. We would drop our like art study, our music study, and whatever else I'm not thinking of right now. Because this really is just like full spectrum. I don't know if I'm going to like this because we have gotten more into a Charlotte Mason style of learning. I am less and less interested in using more mainstream materials, but I bought this and I would really like to try to use it before. Sorry, it's really heavy. I'm going to put it down. I would really like to try to use it, especially before we start next year, because next year we're doing a full Charlotte Mason curriculum, except that I have the survival unit of this too. And so my thought is that we will end the year on the homesteading with Little House in the Big Woods. And then tentatively, if we like this, I'm thinking we will start our next school year, which I'm going to start August 1st, with the survival homesteading unit, not bring in like hardly any other curriculum for that first month and read My Side of the Mountain with it, which is like a survival chapter book about a boy who survives in the wild. So that's kind of my tentative plan. It sounds fun to me to end on something just kind of easy and new and to start the year on something easy and new. So you guys tell me what you think. If anyone's tried the Harbor and Sprout homesteading or survival units, let me know what you have thought, especially if you're a Charlotte Mason homeschool. I would love to know if those were good units for you. But anyway, that's my plan for May. So I'm kind of going to back up a little just to hit on a couple other things. There's some things we're adding to our morning basket that I haven't talked about since I revealed our morning basket for the year. So we have been rotating things in and out. Our morning basket is going so well right now. So what we're doing for morning basket is my daughter works from like a planner to do her calendar work where she puts in the day of the month and then she tells me the date. It's working so well. Like she's finally grasping the concept of telling me the date. We are also doing, so we just finished, I can't believe it. We finished our Time to Rhyme California Native Plants and Animals poetry book. This was written by a 9-year-old girl. It's available on Amazon. It has been the sweetest book teaching us through poetry about native plants and animals in California. And I'm really proud of us for finishing a whole book of poetry. even though they were light and fun and educational. It's really cool. So this is over. I don't have a poetry plan for second term because we have added a bird unit. This is our core science right now. Oh, I didn't actually grab the item. This is our core science right now. We're doing a bird unit, the Burgess Bird Book for Children from Simple Studies. We just finished up week 3, and there's poetry in this. There's a little bit of poetry. And there's also some poetry in our first language lessons, which is our grammar. So I'm just not bringing in poetry for second term. We're doing a boatload of poetry next year. But I'll just touch on this really quick. It's going well. My daughter is listening to the stories, but I wouldn't say she's super into them. She's not terribly into the whole anthropomorphic, talking animal thing. But she is listening. So what we do is I read one chapter a week. She narrates it back to me that same day. And then whatever bird was in the chapter, we look up in our field guide. This is the first time that we've been using a field guide, and this is going really well. We do that on Mondays. And then on Wednesdays, so I got these cards from Riverbend Press. They are prints that match all of the chapters out of the Burgess Bird Book for Children, which is just so cool. I think she also has cards for the Flower Burgess Bird Book or Burgess Flower Book, which I will totally get for next year. I'm so excited. So I've been displaying these every week, and then we will paint or draw one of the birds from that picture. So you can kind of see she did so good. I think she did the top, maybe the bottom bird. I don't know which bird she did, but you can tell she got some of the details in there. And the kids have really been enjoying this. This is probably the most nature journal study that we've done. So consistently, we've been doing it every week for the last 3 weeks. This is my son's. This was his little house sparrow. So cute. And I am an artist, and I don't do it as much as I would like to because, since becoming a mom. But this has been a really great opportunity for me to engage with the kids and do the nature study, journaling with them. And it's been really enjoyable for me. So I really look forward to this on Wednesday mornings. I have the cards set up on the school table with our notebooks and our paints. And it's how we start out the morning. And it's been really enjoyable to all do it together. And I know that they're impressed that I have some artistic ability. And so it inspires them to really do their best. And then my plan was for Fridays, we would do a nature walk with these bird watching notebooks that I got from The Good and the Beautiful. We struggle with the nature walks. It's not the weather that prohibits us. They just don't really like a planned out nature walk. They've never liked taking walks. And we live in a beautiful part of California. We have trails all over, but we have a lot of nature where we live because we live on a cattle farm. And there's, I've been doing, and the kids, we've been doing a lot more bird watching, just observation, when we're out on our property. I tried to walk around the property with this one day, but it felt so inauthentic, So my plan, and also this requires the kids to just do a lot of writing. I don't want to do the writing for them. So my plan is to hold on to these. And when we find nature finds a really cool feather or, if we find an egg, we can do a sketch of it in here. Or maybe we take some pictures of some birds or something and we study their feet or their beaks, or we could study from this and use this. I don't know. I think I'm fine just holding on to it, and then we can maybe use it as they get a little older. But, and I would really like to do an intentional nature walk once a week. That's really something that I want to work on for next year. Being that we're a Charlotte Mason family, nature study is it's the core science for Charlotte Mason. And so figure out a way to prioritize nature walks. One more thing to touch on with the bird unit is that, so for my son, he's really just been doing like that nature journal entry with the painting. And then once a week, I choose the picture book, read aloud, or I check it out from the library that's recommended with the program. That's a really cool thing about the Simple Studies curriculum, is that they have recommended picture books with each lesson for younger kids. So my library has had most of them so far. I'll read that to him, and then he does a little narration in his kindergarten notebook. He's in transitional kindergarten, and it's really, and it's sweet. It's really not like a narration. He just tells me his favorite part, and then he does a picture. This is kind of an interesting thing, though, kind of an update with my son. So my son is a late talker. He just turned 5 in November. He really wasn't speaking at all until maybe 3, but it was just a few words. And then around 4, he was speaking maybe up to 50 words. And now it's really starting to roll that he turned 5, but his pronunciation is pretty rough. It's been a journey, and I just had a knowing that he's fine. We did get him tested. He's seen a couple therapists, and they say there's nothing to worry about. He's just a late talker, but he could use some therapy. So we have done some therapy with him, but I've always just known along the way that he's going to be okay. And we are going to be working with our charter school, getting him some speech therapy. And he did a recent assessment, or like a screening. And our facilitator, our homeschool facilitator, did the screening with him. And the last question was, I'm going to have, my son's name is Woody. Woody, I'm going to have you summarize a story for me. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. I know, I feel like that's going to be tough. But she told him a story about a little boy who fell off of his bike and got hurt and had to go home. And it was a short story. But then he narrated it back to her in order of events. I mean, he definitely used his minimal language, but she understood what he was saying. And I was just like, oh my God, my son knows how to narrate. It was so cool, because I've always kept this really easy for him. I'm always just like, all right, buddy, what's your favorite part, or show me your favorite page. But I didn't know that he could narrate and within sequence. So that was a really cool discovery for me as a Charlotte Mason educator. I am very excited about our kindergarten year to come in terms of introducing narration with him. He'll be 6, next year. So I just wanted to share that because that was really cool. Something else to hit here. It's going to be a long video. All my videos are long these days. We started our history with Under the Home. We're reading Ancient Man. This comes with a whole teacher guide and everything. But it's going well. I think my kids they think it's exciting, the whole Stone Age period and how difficult it was, to survive. And I have them act out the chapters, which is really fun. And then my daughter does a proper narration that I write down. And then there's some busy work in the workbook that I don't really know if we're going to keep doing, because I'm trying to get more away from busy work and just focus more on narrations. But it's going well. So now we're getting into actually the Iron Age, and we're going to be getting into Egypt. And it's all history that my kids have not been introduced to yet. So, so far so good. A couple other things. Oh, I totally got off track with our morning basket, didn't I? A couple other things with the morning basket. I don't know when or if we're going to do this. The stuff they left behind, this is from Simply Charlotte Mason. It's all of these like cool architectural discoveries or ruins from ancient Rome. And so maybe once we touch on Rome in here, I could start doing some of these. But in the meantime, we are doing Van Gogh we're doing Van Gogh from Simply Charlotte Mason, and we just started this. So we're only in week 3, and it's 8 paintings. So it'll be at least 8 weeks before we would bring this in. I don't know when this starts to touch on Rome. So anyway, it would be nice if I could coordinate that. I guess that's my tentative plan. But yeah, Van Gogh is going good. Oh, the cool thing about Van Gogh, about this is that last year we did Monet, and I didn't even try to read the artist biography to my first grader because I was just like, it's just like really long and dense. But I read it to her this year, being a year older, and she wanted me to finish it. I thought it would take a couple days, and she was really into it. She liked it. She's definitely into art and artists. She thinks it's fascinating that you can get famous for making art. Another thing in our morning basket, we started our Woven Melodies music study. This is cool. It's a cultural music study that really just like studies instruments all over the world. And we just finished the first week we finished the first 3 weeks, which studies the mandolin. And I will say my kids liked watching the videos of the mandolin music. We've been playing mandolin music during our bird study. But like, there's a little bit of busy work with the workbook. I don't think it's bad busy work. I think it's good. It gets my daughter thinking about the music, but I'm doing the writing for her because she's just not writing much on her own yet. What else? And I don't think that like the instrument diagramming is really something that we're very interested in. I think that maybe this is better suited for older kids. But anyway, yeah, it's been cool. We study a composer for the week. We watch a bunch of, music that the composer plays. She answers some questions about that composer. If you're interested in seeing what that is like, I just did a day in the life a couple videos back, and you can watch it there. Something that I have not mentioned yet either in our morning basket is that we started musical multiplication from The Good and the Beautiful. This comes in 4 books, I believe. We're working through set A, which is like 8 or 9 multiplication problems. I'm like checking them off as my kids memorize them. You have to download the music files that The Good and the Beautiful will send you. So every morning, I've been starting the school day out with playing the musical multiplication. The kids are into it. They are learning multiplication facts before learning multiplication. I don't really know. I obviously, I want there to be number sense with this, but part of the reason I started it was because I knew that our math curriculum was not going over a whole lot of multiplication this year. And I have a feeling there's going to be some multiplication questions on her charter school assessment at the end of the year. I kind of just wanted her to know some of her facts. And my kids learn really well through music. We play a lot of educational songs in our homeschool. So like they've learned, the continents, the coin value, oceans, a few state capitals, days of the week, months of the year. So now we're learning musical multiplication. And yeah, it's going really great. These are fun. I guess that's all I have to say about it. We're still doing writings from the wild. This is like, I haven't even opened this one yet. This is probably like one of those things that we just don't really need, and I didn't need to spend money on because my kids aren't that into it. They'll probably be into this one, actually. The Snowy Owl. So it's a letter written from the perspective of the animal. I got these for fun since our science kind of bombed with elements. Something else in our morning basket. My daughter has just not been writing a lot on her own. We have a handwriting curriculum that we use, and she does copy work just about every day. But I'm not seeing her write a whole lot, just like for fun on her own, And so I want her to. So every morning I tell her, we just started 3 days ago, but I tell her to take this book and to write a sentence. I don't care what you write. It could be anything. It could be a question, whatever. I'm also not going to grade it. So I'm not going to tell her when something's spelled wrong. I just want to see how her mind is spelling things. And I want her to just start getting a little bit more comfortable with the idea of writing. And she has loved doing this. When I say, okay, it's time to write your sentence, she takes it, she goes in her own little private corner of wherever, and she writes her sentence, and she's really been liking it. So I'm hoping that this is going to like inspire her to be like, oh, I could write. It's not an unheard of concept, right? So, yeah, I think that that's been a positive addition. I am probably going to bring back this Can You Find Me in our morning basket. She got through like half of this last year. She thinks they're kind of fun. They're just like logic problems. I think it's kind of busy work. But I might bring it in for my son, because I think this is almost more kind of his level now. But anyway, I'd like to finish it. So we're going to rotate this back into the morning basket at some point this year. We are bringing back Artistic Pursuits. We did 12 lessons out of this last year. This is an art, like a studio art curriculum. We have a studio art plan for next year. And so I just want to kind of crack out a few more of these before we probably won't use this anymore. And so I don't know how many lessons we'll get through, and I forget when I'm bringing it back, but I think it's starting in March that we're gonna bring this guy back. My kids like this. It's fun. We are also bringing back Training Aliens. So this is an emotional and social development curriculum. We didn't get terribly far. How far did we get in this? We got to mission 4. So we did the first 3 missions, and I believe there's 10. No, there's 13, 14, 15. Oh my God, there's 16 missions. So we didn't get very far. I'm a little worried to bring this back. I feel like my daughter was not super interested. She was kind of into it at first, but I don't know, like the pictures of the aliens and stuff, it's a little babyish. So I think this will be great for my son. I'm going to try to bring it back for both of them. But if we have issues, I could just use it for him, or I could wait and use this in kindergarten with him next year. But I thought that it was cute, and it had some really fun activities, and then it had some fun like challenges. So for instance, this one was like, so color in like it's like a badge. So color in the badge for meeting new people, for being a good listener, for managing boredom, for sharing, for asking for help. So I thought that was cute. But it's like, again, you know, we're going to be more of a Charlotte Mason homeschool next year, and I just don't want to be bringing in a lot of extra resources. I'd like to get through some of this, you know, before that. And then I got these Honest History magazines. I used the one that was all about Native America. We just read, oh my God, a travel activity book. This should have been in my last video about things that I don't need. I don't even know why I got this. This is probably going to go in the kids' like travel stuff. I don't even know why I got it. Honest History, I got the one on Native America, and I read parts of it, and it was cool. I probably didn't need to get these, but because this is Rome and Greece, perhaps I can kind of bring it in as we continue with our history curriculum. I got, oh, that's right. I got these because I didn't have a world history curriculum, and then I got one. So that's why. We'll see if we get to them. The last thing I had in my morning basket was Mad Libs. This is like, we haven't started using these, but my kids are going to love these. I just know it. This is a really good way to practice grammar rules, parts of speech, you know. And there's actually some of these that my daughter could probably do. You know, we haven't gone over verbs and adjectives yet, but I could easily just explain it to her so that we could do some of these. And I think that she'd be really into it. So we're definitely going to be doing more of this next year in our morning basket if this goes well. And then I'm not really going to share anything about math and phonics. Math is going fine. We're over halfway through. So we're going to finish on time. My son is doing kindergarten math, so I'm not even worried about when he finishes it, but he's doing great. He's doing the Good and the Beautiful kindergarten 3 days a week. Poppy's going to be on to Right Start Level C towards the end of the year. And phonics, you know, where I'm finishing up the All About Reading pre-reading with my son. I'm doing foundational phonics with Poppy. We have gotten through 100 pages in just 16 lessons, I think. So we're really just trying to fly through this because it's just a lot of phonics practice. And then we are also using our McGuffey readers every night. and getting through that first book, the primer. It's going so well. I can't believe for the first time I feel like I don't have a lot to say about our phonics because it's, you know, what we're using is working. I hope it stays that way. Okay, this video got way too long, so I'm going to end it here. And thanks for tuning in again, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.